Hi, in this video I want to show you how to set up a virtual machine that we can use to run our RTEMS applications. So our applications are actually operating systems that we can boot directly. For convenience, we're going to use we're going to run them inside a virtual machine instead of actually on real hardware. I'm going to use a VirtualBox virtual machine. I've used QEMU in the past. It works well also. I'm sure VMware could be used similarly. Um, it's not necessary to install any other operating systems other than RTEMS. It is convenient to have a more general purpose operating system installed that will allow us to partition the drive, format the drive, move files around on the drive that contains our RTEMS images. So I'm going to set up a virtual machine here that has an operating system installed. And I'm going to actually install FreeDOS. And you can certainly set it up using Windows or Linux, but FreeDOS, I prefer FreeDOS because it boots in just a matter of seconds. Again, it's not necessary to install any operating system at all, but it's certainly convenient. FreeDOS is small and again quick to boot. So the first step is to go to the freedos.org website. Click on the download FreeDOS 1.2 link, scroll down, and you'll see a link for the CD-ROM standard installer. So if you click here, it'll download the ISO file for you. It's not necessary to burn that to a CD-ROM. Our virtual machine can treat the ISO file just like a CD-ROM drive. If you note, there's also a box over here talking about if you have problems with VirtualBox that you need to hit the tab key at the boot menu and add the word raw to the command line at the end of the command line to avoid some errors that may occur when you boot from the CD-ROM. After we install FreeDOS to our hard drive, you won't have to worry about this. We'll be booting from our hard drive instead. So I've already downloaded the ISO image. It's in my downloads directory. It's called fd12cd.iso. Again, you'll need to know the location of this ISO file in order to install FreeDOS on your virtual machine. So the next step is start up the VirtualBox virtual machine manager, and then we want to create a new virtual machine. So I click on the new icon, and then I'm going to type in FreeDOS 1.2. This little wizard has correctly detected that I'm going to install a DOS like operating system, so it'll choose reasonable default for the amount of memory and the amount of hard drive space that I need. So click Next. It recommends 32 megabytes of memory. That's not much for operating systems like Windows or Linux, but it's plenty for a DOS-based operating system. And the same virtual machine will actually be running our RTEMS applications, and that's plenty for our RTEMS applications as well. So click Next. We want to create a virtual hard drive. We're actually going to create two virtual hard drives. One will contain our FreeDOS operating system, and then the other drive will actually contain all of our RTEMS images. But we're only going to create one virtual hard drive, the FreeDOS drive, in this video. So click Create. The default hard disk file type, the VDI type, is fine. Having it dynamically allocated is also fine. That means will create a 500 megabyte drive, but it actually won't be 5 megabyte in size. It will grow up to that size as we add files onto the drive. So next, again, it recommends 500 megabytes, and it recommends a particular directory. The defaults here are fine. There's no reason to actually make this larger. So this will create the drive. So now we've got our virtual machine set up. There is no operating system installed. We've got a drive that hasn't been partitioned or formatted. So now the next step is to actually install FreeDOS on our virtual machine. We need to set up the CD-ROM on our virtual machine so that it's connected to that ISO file that we downloaded from the FreeDOS website. So click on Storage, click on the little CD-ROM icon here, and come over here to the right and click on the little icon as well. And we're going to actually connect it to a virtual file. And you'll see you may have to browse to the downloads directory or wherever you downloaded the ISO file, but select the ISO file. And then now click OK. One other thing I want to show you here is under the system category, it's got a boot order. It's going to first try to boot from a floppy, which we don't have, and then from an optical disk, which is what we want. We want it to, at least during this install phase, to boot off of our virtual machine, to boot off of our CD-ROM drive. So click OK, and then start our virtual machine. And started on another screen. Let me drag it over. So here's that boot menu. Remember, we had a warning about this on the FreeDOS website that when we were running under VirtualBox, that you should hit the tab key and add the raw keyword here. So we'll do that. So space raw and then enter, and then the installation procedure starts. We want to do we want to do the installation using the English language, or at least I do. It says here it's a complete operating system. It may override the operating system that you have now. You don't need to worry about this because we're actually installing to a virtual machine and not your actual machine. So there is no operating system on our virtual machine. So yes, continue with the installation. So it's detected that our drive has not been partitioned. The default here is don't partition the drive. Again, it's choosing safe defaults, but again, we created that virtual 500 megabyte drive. We need to partition it. So yes, partition drive C. It's going to partition it for us automatically, I think at maximum size. In order for the new partitioning scheme to take effect, we need to reboot. So click yes again. Again, we're going to reboot off of the CD-ROM. So press tab here, add the raw keyword, and then enter. And then again, do the installation in English. Yes, we want to continue. Now this pop-up window, it says now our drive has not been formatted, so we've partitioned it. The next step is to format it. Again, the default is to return to DOS, but we want to format. So that's happened actually already, and it's waiting for me to press a key to continue. The keyboard layout, mine's US English, and I want to do a full installation. Again, here the default is actually not to install anything, but I actually want to install FreeDOS. And actually the installation is really pretty quick. It takes only a few seconds to install quite a few utilities under FreeDOS. And I think it is just about done. It says, do I want to reboot now? Actually, that would be fine. Well, we'll go ahead and let it reboot. You'll see if I let it reboot, it's going to, the machine is going to default to rebooting off the CD-ROM. I could come down here and choose boot from the system hard disk, which I guess I will, and then just press enter. I can press enter here at this menu. I think it automatically proceeds after 3 seconds. Actually, it automatically proceeded. And then now I'm at the back at my C prompt. I'm going to halt the machine and then change the boot order so it doesn't boot from the CD-ROM. So a couple commands here. I can halt or reboot. I'm going to halt, which will shut down the virtual machine. you can, I think, just close down the window. It's usually fairly safe for DOS. A little safer is actually to use the halt command to shut down the virtual machine. So go back to the system entry here for my FreeDOS machine, and then I'll just uncheck both the floppy and the optical, so it'll boot directly from the hard disk. Boot from the hard disk now, so start up my virtual machine. It should go directly into FreeDOS. I'm going to press enter, and my machine here is booted in 2 seconds. One other thing I want to show you before I close out this video is how to install additional software. So there's a nice little utility that comes with FreeDOS called FDimples. Again, I still have the CD-ROM attached with all of the software on the CD-ROM. So FDimples, and then I get this little menu-based system that lists all the software that's on the CD-ROM. You'll see there's a lot of development software. There's some games. You might want to play around with some of the games here that are installed. I'm actually going to install some of the networking software. So I select networking, hit the right arrow key. I need to install FDNet, so highlight it, press the space bar. I also need the MTCP software. I'll go ahead and install wget, although I don't think we'll be using it. I haven't had very much luck actually using it to retrieve files from network servers. So FDNet, MTCP, and then wget. Hit the tab key until OK is highlighted, and then press enter. And now we've got just that quickly, we've installed some additional software. Again, I can run FDimples to add more software off the CD-ROM to the disk. But I think that's all I need to do actually wanted to do in this particular video. So again, I'll type halt to shut down the machine and say so long until next time.